Welcome back to Kimchi Rednecks.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yes.
Because what are we going to do today, Chuck? We're going to make a cake, but not just any cake, Chuck. We're going to make a bundt cake.
The hell is a bundt cake? Are we playing baseball or cooking?
This
That's a Jello mold.
is a bundt pan.
That's where you get that nasty thing that your grandma always made that's got the little chunks of stuff in the Jello.
This is a bundt pan. This is a multi-bundt pan for making more than one at a time.
That's a miniature Jello mold.
No. So bundt can is a round one-layer cake with a hole in the middle. The name of this cake comes from the pan itself, because this is called a bundt pan. A bundt pan is a higher cake pan with higher sides that are usually fluted like these, and then obviously has like the donut hole in the middle. So why, you ask, would anybody want to make a cake in this pan?
Because I've been watching too much Mystery Kitchen.
No, but I have been watching Crime Scene Kitchen, and I love that show. So these cakes cook a little bit more evenly because the heat distribution comes through the entire cake, so you're getting it from the center here, from the pan as well. So it ends up being a...
less chance of it being raw in the middle.
It's a more moist...
It's fucking raw!
It's a more moist cake, and then it's also, obviously, a deeper cake. So once you've cooked it, obviously you're turning it over, so you get the classic, this is the top of it. And then you generally ice it or do a glaze over the top of it. So Chuck, today, it's November.
It is.
It is almost Christmas time, and everybody loves...
Now. Christmas is December. Fat man can stay there. It's turkey time.
Okay, but even for turkey time, people do love gingerbread.
Maybe.
Gingerbread is a classic seasonal, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday season flavor.
Now, y'all watching this thing about two rednecks living in Korea might be wondering, what the hell does a gingerbread cake have to do with Korea? We're giving it to a Korean person. That's all the justification I need.
We're making a gingerbread cake. Yeah.
For our Korean friend.
A gingerbread bundt cake. So that is what we are doing today. That is the game plan. We will show you all the steps.
All right, so we're getting ready here, but we're going to throw up a couple pictures of our ingredients and let you know what's in each one. So, first picture we have...
We'll start with, in the white bowl, starting there at the top, allspice, then baking powder, then nutmeg, then baking soda. In the clear bowl will be milk, then we'll have cloves, cinnamon, ginger, and in the smaller container, salt.
Proportions and everything will be in the recipe below, by the way.
Second photo, you've got up at the top, these are a little bit easier to figure out. You've got flour, under that's brown sugar, then you've got molasses, and then you've got butter, obviously. Then you've got sour cream, vanilla, 2 eggs, large eggs, and sugar. Thing to note, the milk, the butter, and the sour cream should all be room temperature. And this is just the ingredients for the cake we're making. We haven't even begun to get to the ingredients for the cream cheese glaze that we'll put on it.
So, what's next, oh baker lady?
Okay, so we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we are going to spray our bundt pan with PAM baking spray, whatever baking spray you choose to use. But basically you're greasing your pan so that you can get it out of there. But that's next. What do you think, Sookie Dog?
She's very interested. She's listening.
You listening to me? You gonna be helper doggy? No. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands because I touched you. Not that you're dirty or anything, but yeah, I'm gonna wash my hands.
And we're back.
All right, so very first thing we're going to do is we are going to cream our butter.
Don't put the bowl in there, people.
Bowl came out, it's all good. So butter and our sugar. All right, so I'm locking my KitchenAid, and then I'm just going to turn it on and let it start beating each other up here. Basically, you want your butter and sugar to get fluffy. Usually takes about 5 to 6 minutes. So we have achieved fluffiness.
So you may have to stop midway or so and scrape stuff off the sides of the bowl or
Honestly,
whatnot?
if you're mixing anything when you're doing a cake, you always want to stop and scrape the sides of the bowl, scrape the bottom of the bowl, and start it again to make sure everything is incorporated. It's just good practice. Okay, so next step is we're going to mix in our eggs one at a time, because inevitably you can always get an eggshell in. All right, so
Speaking of eggshells, egg cracking tip. You should always crack your eggs on a flat surface and not on a corner, because the corner can drive the eggshells into the egg.
all right, turn this back on. Egg number 1 is going in. And before I put egg number 2 in, I'm going to make sure egg number 1 is fully in. Okay, we are incorporated, so number 2. Okay, now I'm going to stop and I'm going to pull this up and scrape stuff down. All right, our eggs are fully mixed in. So the next step is to add our vanilla. And then we're going to add our molasses.
And that is definitely spelled molasses, not molasses.
Thank you, spelling coach.
Hey, I'm just comic relief in this video. I don't think worth a damn.
Thought you were taste tester as well.
Oh, yeah. No, May applied for that part.
I'm not sure this is on May's diet plan.
And pop up. Like, oh, am I the taste tester? So just remember, when you're pouring stuff in, it's probably a good idea to wipe up any spilt molasses immediately, because when that stuff dries out, it's organic cement.
So we don't cry over spilt molasses.
No, we clean it up.
So we have all of that incorporated together. It's going to sit there for a minute. So that's the beginning of our cake batter. So now we're going to incorporate all of our dry ingredients in a separate bowl. So we've got our flour, all-purpose flour. We've got our brown sugar, allspice, baking powder, nutmeg, baking soda. Only dry ingredients. Remember, we're doing dry ingredients. Then we've got cloves, cinnamon, ginger, because it ain't gingerbread without the ginger.
It would be less gingerbread and more
Just bread.
bread.
Yeah. And then our salt. And then I just do this with a hand whisk and hand whisk it all together until all the lumps are done. Because it's harder when you've got lumps. You want all this to be kind of smoother by the time you put it in with everything else. Okay, now separately in a different bowl, empty bowl, we are going to put our milk and our sour cream. And then we're going to whisk them together. All right, so we see our consistency here. We are mixed together. There are no lumps in our sour cream. So we're good on that. Next, we are going to take and we're going to start alternating our dry mixture and the wet mixture. So we're going to start with the dry.
A little bit dry.
And the thing to note here is we want to mix this on a very low speed because we do not want to overmix.
We have, by the way, switched to the whisk attachment
Yeah.
because we were on the paddle earlier. I know words.
He does know words. And I'm going to add some liquid.
The super exciting saga of cake mixing.
Give it a break here for a second, and we are going to scrape sides and bottom.
In case anyone was wondering, recipes like this in the prep or why your kitchen always is a never-ending pile of dishes, isn't it?
You know, honestly, this is usually what my kitchen looks like when Chuck has been cooking. So yeah, it's a hot mess up in here.
I'm usually the one that does my prep work in 15 different bowls.
All right, so now I'm gonna scrape everything off of here that I can get off. This is like the hardest part of any cake, is trying to get all your batter off of the mixers. All right, off. I'll check and make sure everything is incorporated. You never want to be surprised by a clump of something. So there we go.
That's what it looks like, people.
So when I fill the pan, I just kind of go around as I go and just keep adding batter. Obviously, you kind of want to do it as even as possible, but when you're done, and you've got everything in, you're going to kind of give everything a shake and tap it on the counter to kind of get rid of air bubbles. The last thing I'll do before I do air bubbles is I will smooth around to kind of get, this will be the bottom of the cake, but I still kind of want to make sure I have it kind of even around.
You don't have to make it super pretty, but...
Taste. Okay, you're gonna tap. Okay, so we've had our oven preheating at 350. Now we are going to put this in there, and it is going to bake for 45 to 50 minutes until your cake tester is inserted and comes out cleanly. Now, if you don't have a cake tester, you can always use a toothpick.
Or a wooden chopstick if you don't want a bigger hole.
Yeah, I have cake tester, so we're good to go. So we're gonna get this in the oven, and we'll see you guys in about 45 to 50 minutes.
Hi, everybody. See if we can get a little shot of this here. You see that rising up there? Hopefully we can see that through the glass there.
And she's done. So we pulled her out. You leave it in the pan to cool for 10 minutes. Once it's been in the pan for 10 minutes, then you can invert it. It should come out perfectly like mine did. If you prepped your pan the correct way with enough spray or whatever you chose to use to prep your pan, it should slide right out. Mine came right off. So that is done, and now we are going to prep our icing. So our icing is going to be a cream cheese glaze. So right now we're going to beat the cream cheese and the butter together. So this is about 4 ounces of cream cheese. Check out that. And then 2 tablespoons of butter at room temp, both of those. Okay. And I'm making more dishes, even though I've already cleaned all my dishes.
The eternal dishes.
So this can be done in a hand mixer, or you can do it in this mixer. So this is nice and creamy now.
So we are creamed. We're creamy.
Okay. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of milk here. As you'll notice, I have 2 sets of, one is a 1 tablespoon, one is a 2. So I'm going to go ahead and add the first tablespoon. This tablespoon here could be milk or it could be amaretto. That is your choice. Both of them will give a lovely flavor. And then I'm going to turn my mixer on. This is 1 cup of powdered sugar. And then I'm going to start slowly adding it so it can start incorporating. And this, yes, you will scrape your sides. And you'll add your milk about a tablespoon at a time. As you can see right here, it definitely looks like I definitely need more liquid. So we're going to pour half of this in. The goal is for a consistency that you can drizzle. And then I'm going to scrape sides really quick. So basically you're going to scrape your sides and your bottom because you want to make sure that nothing's sticking. And then I'm going to put it on a medium-high speed until it's smooth. So looking at my consistency, I can see it's not going to be what I want for consistency, so I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. This is another tablespoon.
So for consistency's sake here, that's about what we got. So when your funnels don't fit and you have to ethnic engineer.
Hey, whatever works, man.
For the For the cake finale?
Yes.
Let me.
We have completely cooled the cake. We have our glaze. Like this. So here we go. You're just literally going to... I really should have pulled my cake turner out. Now my personal impression, personal thoughts on bundt cakes as well as breads, I think they taste better on day 2.
Which is not unusual for a lot of dishes. Pretty much anything with a marinara sauce, a curry, a lot of stuff is better the next day once it has time to settle and meld.
Are you ready, Chuck?
I already.
Okay, let's check this out. Let's give you all the feels of gingerbread, but in a cake.
Yep. And the bottom, which is the top when it was in the oven, gives you that little bit of crunch if you're thinking ginger snap.
I was worried that the cream cheese and the glaze might be a little much, but I think it actually works.
Yep. But it tastes good. So, there you are, people. We have made a gingerbread bundt cake.
Yes, a holiday dessert.
Yes.
Just in time for the holidays.
For a Korean person.
What?
I said we made it in Korea for a Korean person.
Oh, for Korean people.
For Korean people. We got several people.
Several people are getting some of this.
But that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. Use the buy us a coffee link to buy treats for the dogs.
Come back and see us again for the next video. Who knows what we'll do next.
Right.
And don't forget, if you love watching all of our moonshining adventures,
There's a second channel now.
go visit us on Shining with Kimchi Rednecks so you can check all that out, because they won't be on this channel anymore. They'll all be over there.
Right, link in the description. Bye.
I've got a